Hello friends, viewers, readers, however you identify. My name is Marley. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be doing a fun little reading blog. It is a themed reading blog where I'm going to let my tarot cards choose my TBR. So this is a popular trend on BookTube. People find different things to pick their TBRs. Since I am so into tarot, and I actually have a bit of a tarot series on my channel where I recommend books for you guys through tarot cards, I thought that it would be fun to do a tarot recommendation for myself for the week. So as always, I want to credit the tarot deck I'm using. It is this one from Sasha Fenton. So first of all, let's shuffle the deck and figure out what cards are going to choose my books. So here we have me shuffling the deck. So here is pile number 1 for book 1. This next pile is for the second book, and the last pile is going to be for the third book that I'm going to read this week. So if we take a look at the first pile, the first card that shows up is the Lover's card, and it's upside down, so that's negative. And then we have the Hermit, which is also upside down. For our second pile and our second book, we have the King of Wands, and then we have the Hierophant, however you say that, and that one's upside down. For our last book, we have the Tower, and then we have the King of Swords. So this is a pretty negative reading. At least this is talking about the books I should read and not about my life. And honestly, I'm fine having negative, dramatic books. We want drama in our books, right? So I have my handy dandy booklet, and we are going to look through and see what these cards are telling me to read, and then I'll choose the books. So the Lover's card obviously represents love and like beauty and harmony, and in the negative position it represents a love affair, obviously, but it's going to be cut short. It seems like in this romance it's not going to work out because one of the people is keeping feelings to themselves and not having open communication, which, you know, is needed, and it could involve settling for someone that's not right for you. So while the Lover's card could have meant I should read a romance, this sounds like the book I read is gonna have a romance that does not work out. So that kind of sucks. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Then we have the Hermit, which honestly is me during the pandemic. Again, this one was negative, so we'll see what it says. So again, as can be imagined from the Hermit card, it represents someone kind of leaving society, closing themselves off to the world, and it even mentions losing a lover. So that sort of goes with the other theme. So I think what I'm supposed to read is a very like tortured romance where potentially one of the characters dies or like they don't end up together. That's not fun. But let's look through my TBR and see if I have any books that fit that. So honestly, this book is perfect. I decided to choose Heart Bones by Colleen Hoover for this reading. So I am a fan of Colleen Hoover, and she tends to write romance books that have a lot of tragedy involved. So honestly, perfect for what these cards just told us. And I haven't gotten to the book yet, so this is the perfect excuse for me to finally read it. It seems like it is about a girl who has some tragedy in her life, and she ends up moving to a new town. We love that. And then she meets this new boy, and they have some sort of fling, and it potentially ends tragically. So sounds perfect. I will let you guys know more about the book once I get to it. Now on to our second group of cards for our second book for the week. So we had the King of Wands and the Hierophant. Hierophant, I should probably know that. So let's see what these are telling us. The King of Wands represents a mature man who is a good communicator and listener. So honestly, this must be a fantasy. Just kidding. So yeah, it basically represents like a really great man who he's funny, he's smart, he makes a good coworker or a lover. In terms of a situation, it could represent business or travel. So we'll have to keep that in mind for the book. I think it will either have like a love interest that's really great. I think this romance will be one that's good, and maybe a book that has to do with business or travel. On to our next card. Again, the Hierophant represents a teacher or a mentor, so that's sort of similar. Sorry, I just found the description for this card very confusing. If you have become stuck in a rut or routine or tradition, you'll shortly find a way of surprising your loved ones. So I interpret this as just having to do something new to get out of a rut, maybe being a little bit rebellious, and yeah, putting your foot down. So let me take a look at my TBR and see what fits these cards. Okay, I think I've decided on the book Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is another book I've been meaning to get to as it was pretty popular on BookTube this year. It is a romance book. I'm not sure what the guy character is going to be like, but he potentially could be a good communicator and listener. I think he's an author, so that should make him a good communicator. And then I know that the book does have to do with business. Again, as I said, the two main characters are authors working on books, so that's like business. Also has to do with travel because I think they go to a cottage or like a beachy area, so that checks that off. And then it also fits the whole theme we had in our second card about taking new approaches and being a bit rebellious, as this is about two authors who decide to swap genres and try out writing the other person's genre because they are having writer's block. So I feel like I found a way to make this book work for these cards that started out kind of difficult. So that brings us to our final book that I'm going to read, and we are going to base it off of The Tower and The King of Swords, and both of these are negative again. So as you can probably guess from The Tower, which shows like a burning, crumbling tower, this is about like a shock or upheaval or like problems happening. So yeah, there's gonna be an unpleasant problem that goes on, although it does say that it will probably be able to be dealt with. So this makes me think that this might not just be a contemporary or romance like our last two. There may be something actually bad going on, like maybe it's a thriller, maybe a fantasy, but it says that things will probably work out. But maybe I shouldn't focus on that part just to make it more interesting. Okay, so King of Swords. Okay, this one is interesting. This guy definitely is representing a villain. This man can be a nasty piece of work, or he may simply be working against you. He may try to use his intelligence against you or take money from you. That definitely seems like a villain. So I think I'm going to be reading some sort of book where there's a big bad male villain and some sort of disaster going on. So let's take a look at my TBR again. This one sounds exciting. All right, and for my third book, I think I'm going to read Pretty Girls by Karin. So I know that this book deals with young girls being kidnapped and a lot of bad things happening to them, which goes along with the tower, like something unpleasant is happening. And then I think it fits with our King of Swords because I'm pretty sure it's probably a man that's doing these things and doing these terrible, harmful things to women. I've heard that there's like major trigger warnings for this book. There's like a lot of graphic violence, assault, rape, all of that sort of stuff. I'm assuming that it's mostly men behind these things, so that's why I feel like it fits with these cards. So I think these are the three books I am going to be reading this week. Thank you to the tarot deck for choosing these cards and choosing these books for me. So if you want to see me actually read these books and learn more about them and see my reactions to them, just keep watching. I just wanted to do a little update before I went to bed. It's Sunday night. So I got to almost halfway. I think I'm at 46% with heart bones. And I am loving it. So Colleen Hoover, something about her writing is so addicting to me. I love it so much. I just like cannot stop reading. I wish I didn't even have to go to bed and I could just finish this book. I don't even know why. Like, I feel this way mostly for thrillers, and that is sort of understandable because it's thrilling or there's like a mystery. But Colleen's books, like, she did one thriller, but even her other books, which are not thrillers, are just so engrossing and they just make me never want to stop. But anyways, heart bones. I wonder why it's called that. I guess I can understand why. As I said in the beginning of this video, it follows this girl. She's 19. Her name is Bea. She's had a really sad upbringing. Her mom was a drug addict. She lived in like a trailer house. Her mom was the typical drug addict that did not care for her growing up and would, you know, take all their money and use it for drugs and things like that. So she just has had a terrible life. At the beginning of the book, her mother dies of overdose. Not a huge shock. And so she doesn't really know what to do, so she ends up calling her father, who she doesn't know very well. She has met him throughout the years, but they haven't talked recently. But she ends up calling him because she's getting kicked out of that trailer. So she goes to live with him for the summer before she starts university or college. And he has like a great life. They're living in like a beach house right now. He has a new wife and then a stepdaughter, so that's her stepsister. So she starts living with them, does not tell them about the mom, which I'm like, this just stresses me out. I hate really big lies in books because you just know it's gonna come out and people are gonna be like, why did you not tell us? Anyways, she is like this because she's never had people that cared for her. Anyway, she just like lies about a lot of stuff and isn't super open. Anyway, then there's a guy, Samson, that she meets, and that is like the love interest of the book. And it's kind of enemies to lovers. They definitely do not hit it off at the beginning of the book. So if you like those types of romances, which I do, check this book out. But yeah, I am loving it so far, mostly because of the romance. I'm really liking it. I feel like there have not been many romances this year that I have enjoyed, or like ships that I have rooted for. I'm really rooting for them. Like, they are both these like tormented souls. Like Samson, even though he's rich and hot, has clearly gone through a lot. He's like definitely brooding and like secretive too, which really bugs me. Like, I just want to know his backstory. I'm sure it's gonna be really messed up because that's always what Colleen does. I'm really enjoying seeing them get to know each other and like open up to each other, and they're just so cute. And it's not going too fast paced either because I also like slow burn romances. It's not super slow burn or anything, but it's not going too fast. Bottom line, loving this book. Really glad I'm getting to it. Probably one of my favorite romances from Colleen that I've read. There's nothing problematic so far. Yeah, that's probably enough for this update, but there probably won't be that many updates for this book because I probably will finish it super quick. So see you guys tomorrow, Monday morning, back to work. Fun. When you have to go grocery shopping, when it's already dark at like 5 and it's rainy. What a nice day for me. So it is Monday night and I just finished Heart Bones by Colleen Hoover. I don't feel like as hyped up about it as I did in my first update, but overall I did really enjoy the book and I would probably give it 4 out of 5 stars. It's funny how accurate the tarot cards were to the book. If you guys remember what I said in the beginning about the Lover's card and the Hermit card, I think it was, they really did fit this book. Just having that sense of like, you know, there was romance, but there was also like tragedy and like angst, and both characters definitely felt like they were hermits and had to deal with a lot of stuff on their own. So it definitely was a match to the tarot cards, and it was a success in terms of my enjoyment as well. So that's great. It's already Monday and I finished one whole book. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I feel like I said a lot in my first update, but basically I really enjoyed the romance. Of course, there was a lot of like drama from Colleen. She always serves us that drama. It's just so entertaining to read. So I would highly recommend Heart Bones by Colleen Hoover. It's not one of her like standout works to me. Like, it wasn't super unique, I guess. Like, it has a lot of similarities with a lot of her other books. So I think maybe I'll read Pretty Girls next, just to space out the romances. But it's bedtime now for me, so I will start that tomorrow, and I'll check in with you guys when I start it. Hey guys, so I have been reading Karin Slaughter's Pretty Girls, and now I know enough to actually talk about it. Maybe I'll hold it up as I talk. So we are following these two sisters, Claire and Lydia, so we're seeing from both of their points of view. And they are the sisters of Julia, who was kidnapped or disappeared, we don't know what happened, when she was 19. And both of the girls were younger than her. So now they're around 40, so it's been a lot of years since their sister was originally taken, and they are very estranged. They are living very different lives and don't talk to each other. And then, this isn't a spoiler because it's on the back, but Claire's husband gets killed, and that sort of leads to the sisters reconnecting. They haven't really that much yet. I'm about 100 pages in. Some suspicions are being like aroused. It's seeming like the current crime that happened with like Claire's husband could be connected to the sisters kidnapping. It's kind of obvious because like both things are going on in the book, so I'm assuming there will be a connection. So it hasn't got too intense yet. It's definitely like the setup that's happening right now, but I'm really interested in knowing more. I don't want to say any spoilers, but we do have some weird things going on and having to do with like violence against women already. Very interested to see what else is gonna happen. So it has been, what, like 48 hours since I last updated. Yesterday, which is not my day, was not feeling productive after work. So here I am today, it's Thursday, and I've been reading Pretty Girls, so pretty close to the end now. At the beginning of the book, I did find it to be quite slow. Like, I would say the first half even wasn't super excited to be reading it. But then we started getting plot twists after plot twists, and the excitement and the intensity just like really ramped up. I have really been enjoying reading it tonight. I feel weird saying enjoying it because it is definitely a really upsetting book. There have been a lot of graphic scenes, and just recently in this last chapter I was literally cringing. It was definitely the grossest scene that I've read in this book, and well, there's been a couple things. But yeah, and once again, this book is really fitting the tarot cards that chose it. It definitely has a terrible villain character, and that really fits the card that we had about an evil man and about terrible things happening. But yeah, the book has been very good. I don't know if there can even be any more plot twists left, but there definitely is going to be some action. But anyways, just thought I'd update to say I am enjoying it, even though it was slow at first. It has really ramped up now. Things that they say are true about how like graphic it is. Finished it, and it was great. 5 stars, very intense, very thrilling, highly recommend. Finally. So I haven't updated in a bit because, as I think you saw, I was kind of out and about this weekend, but I have been reading Beach Read, and I'm at 69%. And I'm absolutely loving this book, like so much more than I thought, because I have heard mixed opinions on this book. Some people like it and some people don't, and I don't normally read a lot of romance, so I wasn't sure how much I was going to like this, but I'm absolutely loving it, as I said. So we follow Gus and January, interesting name. January has always been a romantic at heart. Her parents, she always believed, had this really great love story, and she had a boyfriend that she thought was going to be her biggest love, and she writes romance novels, and she's definitely more of like the sunshiny one in the relationship. And then when her dad passes away and she finds that her dad was cheating on her mom and she breaks up with her boyfriend, like everything just starts to crumble for her. And so she goes to this house that her dad had left for her, and she meets a Gus, who's the next door neighbor, and he is the grumpy one, and he writes like more depressing novels. And they knew each other in school, and they were sort of like rivals because she believes in happy endings and he doesn't, blah blah blah. And so they start interacting again and end up coming up with this bet where she's going to write a like literary fiction, more like depressing book, and he's going to try writing a happy ending, like a romance novel, and whoever sells their book first like wins the bet. Every Friday night, Gus will take January on some sort of like research trip because his books take a lot of research because they're like based on real events and stuff. And then every Saturday she takes him on like a romantic date to kind of show him what romance is like, I guess. And it's so cute. It's like you're dating, like you're going on dates together, and they have like the enemies to lovers stuff, really good banter, but then it's also like a slow burn, which I like. I don't like when it's like, you know, not far into the book and they already love each other or they're already sleeping together, stuff like that. I like when it's nice build up, and that's what this book is serving me, and I'm loving it. I think I'm loving it more than Heartbones because that romance was very similar to this. If you guys obviously heard me explain it just a few minutes ago or whatever, like they both have these like banter, love-hate relationships, and they both take place at like a beach house and stuff. It's funny how they're similar, and they both have like secrets and like hardships. So it's funny how they are so similar, but I think Beach Read is the superior romance. But we'll see how I feel at the end, because right now I'm just loving them so much. They're so cute, and they are just giving me so many feels. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna spend the rest of the day reading this. Hey, so I just finished Beach Read and I absolutely loved it. I'm torn between like a 5-star or a 4-star, so I guess I would say like 4.5. I love the relationship between January and Gus. I love when the guy doesn't annoy me and like piss me off by being too controlling and too rude. So if you're like me and you don't like when the guys are like too mean, then this would be a good book. If you like banter, if you like a slow burn, like a slow burn relationship, I just thought it was beautiful. And so I'm really happy because I thought that I think I read some romances earlier in the year and I thought I didn't like romance and I was gonna have to like give up on the whole genre, but the 2 books I read this week, Heartbones and Beach Read, just really proved to me that I don't have to give up on romance. I just have certain things I like and certain things I don't like. And I think really steamy ones and with guys that are too controlling are ones I don't like. But ones like this are good. So anyways, I want to wrap up this vlog. I think it was really fun reading books that my tarot cards picked for me. It was like a fun way to pick which books from my TBR I was going to read next. And overall, I would say I picked pretty good ones for what the tarot cards said. They all pretty much fit what the tarot cards predicted. That is all for this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this whole idea for this video with the tarot cards. And that wraps it up. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!